a été détecté.
Yo, Adrian. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Rocky.
I'm that other guy from Rocky.
I'm Adrian.
Who the fuck is Adrian?
Adrian's
his
that love
girlfriend.
interest.
I love the fact that Darcy quoted Rocky and I'm the only one who's seen any of those movies.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true. I have seen, I believe, the last three, but not the first three. Or the last two or something. I've seen some of them, but not all of them.
Yeah. That's a series that's like all over the place.
Yeah, I've heard it's a little bit...
I love that
sporadic.
series, but like it has a couple of really great entries and a couple of like almost unwatchable ones.
Yeah, my mate was like, oh, let's watch the Rocky films. And I was like, really? And they were like, oh, I only want to watch like these ones. And it wasn't even like the first one. So I was like, okay.
The first one's great. It's not even really about boxing.
No, I
It's
heard
like-
it's not. It's just
like
about
a
him.
really-
Yeah.
Emotional like character drama. It's great.
Yeah, I'll watch him eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know. When they come up on the podcast wheel.
Yes.
Wheel.
Of
I'll watch
Wheel.
it then.
All right.
This is episode 68, guys. How have we been?
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
living life. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm exhausted, lads. I don't know
Oh,
about
I'm
you.
always tired. Thanks for the tea.
Yeah,
the tea's
I'm
gonna
doing
be
pretty
the
well.
only thing.
Yeah, I'm exhausted actually. Yeah.
It's been a really weird week.
Fucking hell, it's really been a long day for us all, I think. So
It's-
we're recording this at like midnight.
It's still a Monday. It's not quite midnight, but
It might as
it
well
may
be.
as well be, yeah.
How did we all get through the recent storm?
I just stayed inside.
I got a tattoo on the day of the storm.
Yeah.
God damn.
And I
I-
gave no fucks.
I worked and got stranded, so
Yeah,
got-
you did.
got
You stranded
drunk.
for like 3 hours. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Went to the old spoons.
Yeah, had a few drinks myself.
Mm-hmm.
Drinks started arriving.
Yeah, we started ordering Chris drinks because he gave us
I didn't
his
get him a
table
single
number.
drink because
Yeah.
he didn't even tell me what table he was on. He was like, "Did you order me this?" And I was like, "How the fuck did I order you that?"
Because I thought maybe you like messaged Max or something.
I could have done that. Could have ordered you some peas because I know how much you love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about ordering you some peas, but then I was like, well,
Yeah,
I
when you
order you
asked,
some peas, or I could order you like a shot.
yeah,
Yeah,
when
and it's
you
a waste
asked
of
for
money,
my
isn't it,
table
really?
number, I was like, I feel like he's gonna bring me peas.
Nope,
No,
I
it's
bought you something else.
yeah, it's honestly
Whatever
a
that
waste
was,
of money.
I don't
too.
Was it-
remember.
I think it was the peanut butter whiskey, was it?
It might have been. Yeah, I had
Sounds
that.
vile.
I had that. But as like a drink.
Oh,
when I
what,
was
like with a
there,
mixer.
like a month or two ago. Yeah,
Ooh.
that was just like straight whiskey.
Yeah.
So
I
it was
did the
fine. It was
shot and I
actually
was like,
alright.
what the fuck is this?
It just
Like, I couldn't
sounds
work out what
gross.
it tasted of.
Yeah, it was all right as whiskey goes. I'm not really a whiskey man myself, but
Mm.
that was all right. That was pretty decent, and also like the cheapest pint that I could have got you. I ordered as well. So maybe
Bottle
if you
back.
don't like that, you'll need something to wash it down with.
That's fair.
And I did.
I feel like you probably needed that after the day that you had. I just went and dyed my mate's hair. I think I
Yeah.
did a pretty fucking great job, personally. I think I'm in the wrong profession.
I think I ended
graphic
up
designing
having
for
like 3 beers and 2 shots and some food.
Yeah,
And then got home and had a couple more cans of beer that I had left over.
Oh, they smelled disgusting.
got
They
home,
were
carried on drinking.
Yeah.
they were horrific.
Carried on drinking, watching Jackass. It was a good evening.
Yeah, we had a good time. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I just stayed inside as I was told to do. Just like because everybody closed. Like
Yeah,
the shops
it was
closed.
it was
and, like,
bad. Like
they're like, you gotta stay inside for this. And Jesus Christ, the damage, man.
yeah, I was walking through
See
North
what happened to the
End.
O2 Arena?
Yeah,
I
man.
That got messed up.
Like I was literally walking through North End, and there was like these flats near St Mary's. Well, it's kind of not quite North End, but still, like the tops of the windows in the flats had like come straight down, so there was like bricks and like police everywhere. Like, don't come down here. The
Mhm.
houses are broken. It was awful. Just the shit that I was seeing.
Yeah, I wasn't
Destruction.
gonna go out in it. It was a bit much. There
wasn't
wasn't
good.
like a lot of rain. I don't think there wasn't like loads of rain. It was just like super windy.
No, my boss was saying about how like they went out to get some like like groceries, get food shopping, whatever. And apparently like the rain was like going sideways, and it was like almost like hail like because it was so cold. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm so glad I didn't catch that because I was only in the rain for like 5 seconds and I was in a taxi.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck.
When I
walking
was
in
there,
there.
it was literally just really windy.
Mm. It was not fun.
It's terrible names they give these storms nowadays anyway. Eunice.
No,
What is that?
Franklin.
Franklin's
Today's
on his way.
Franklin.
He's coming.
The next one that's coming is meant to be called Gladys. Can
Great.
you fucking believe that?
You're giving them like just
Old
old
people
lady
names.
names.
Yeah.
Great.
They just go to the nearest retirement home and just ask everyone their name and log them for.
Who was the last
upcoming
person who
storms.
died here? Could they possibly have turned into a storm? Do you think? Name it after them.
Yeah, well, supposedly, yeah, it's supposed to be the next one that knocks out this weekend's plans, if anyone's got any, which I do, actually. I'm supposed to be in Brighton on Sunday, so
Yes.
it might not be
And it's
going.
bad enough as it is because it's all replacement buses.
Yeah, it's going to take me 2.5 hours to get there, and it's Brighton. Like, are you
Gosh.
joking? Part of me was like, oh, do I even want to go? And then I was like, no, I've got people relying on me to go.
Sure.
Mm.
That's that. So we all just stayed inside and went outside and just had a good time with it.
Mm.
Thanks, Eunice.
Yeah.
I almost finished Adventure Time. Way! Except I didn't completely finish it because Now TV is bullshit. That's the worst streaming site, man. That's the worst streaming service we've got here. Is
Yeah.
Now TV. What are they about? What are they playing at? Because I get to the end of season 10 of Adventure Time. Oh, what do you know? It's 4 more episodes left and they're not on there. I was like, great. There's this massive cliffhanger, and then it all
Oh, wow.
ends with like this 4 episode kind of thingy. So it's like 4 episodes in one, and it's all this one complete story, which is basically just the end of the show. Oh, it's not on there. Great.
No.
Why'd you put it on there in the first place if I'm not even allowed to finish it? Come on.
That's like dangling a carrot in front of a donkey and then being
Yeah.
like, no.
Now TV does suck. It's so expensive. Like they split TV and movies into separate things. You have to pay extra for it in HD as well. It's
And
just
you still get ads, don't you?
yeah.
Like,
I know.
what are you paying
I think
for
part of
at
the
that
HD
point?
thing you don't get ads, but it's only ads like at the beginning of things normally.
Okay, I mean, it's not so bad, but what are you
But
paying
still-
for?
You're
What do I
paying
do?
to get so little. Like you're paying like if you want to get the same amount as say like Prime or Netflix, you're probably going to be paying like £30 a month.
Yeah, like my mate only had it so they could watch Game of Thrones, and then when that finished, they were like, I'm done with this.
I did that with
Which is fair enough.
the new Dexter. I got it for that, and then kept it when we were meant to be doing Oz, and then got rid of it when that fell through.
It's annoying. What am I supposed to do? Because I tried to pirate it. Unpiratable. The last
You just
episode of
can't
that show.
find
Just
it.
can't find it. It's not.
Can you buy it?
Can I buy that last?
Well,
Perhaps-
4
What are they-
episodes?
I don't know. What do they want me to
Hmm.
do? Get to the end of that and then go, oh man, I didn't even finish it. And there are still like episodes that are missing,
Yeah.
just
Oh,
dotted around
really?
the Now TV upload. So it's just like some episodes I just didn't see. So what do they
Oh,
want me to
what the
do?
hell?
Do you like get to the end of that and then go out of my way to spend, I don't know, £80 on the Blu-ray box set? Like I'm going to do that Now
So-
TV.
Yeah,
What,
you
so-
can
Get
just
a grip.
borrow ours once we're done with it.
Yeah, what we've got up
Yeah.
to... Have we got the whole box set?
Yeah, we got all the episodes.
Sure.
Not
But
counting
not
that
the
recent.
last one, not last
They've
series.
just done a recent like.
And is
a
that the one that's on
spin-off
Now
sort of thing.
TV?
No, the recent thing isn't on Now TV.
Okay.
It's not come out in the UK at all.
Okay, right. I got you. Oh yeah, Max may as well just like take the disc and just bring it back.
Well. Thank you. But I'm still mad at Now TV.
Yeah, no, that's
The
shit. What are you
distribution
paying
sucks.
for? What are you
what's
paying
up
for?
with
What's
this?
the point?
Honestly.
What a waste.
Yeah, I'm excited for in a couple of years when they lose the rights to all the HBO stuff and HBO Max comes to the UK. I
Yeah.
think it's 2025 their contract with HBO ends.
Brilliant.
It's obviously quite far
Only forever
away.
to
but
wait.
Just a
at
little
that
bit.
point, I feel like Now TV will have literally nothing in the way of TV.
No. I barely use it. I've only used it recently because of Adventure Time.
Yeah, that's why I got rid of it because I wasn't using it. It was just there.
No, I think we used. I can't remember the last time that we actually used. Oh, we watched some TV show on it, and that was it, wasn't it? We watched stuff on it like really sporadically. Like I think we've watched it, I don't know, like 4 times in the last 2 years or something.
Yeah.
We just don't watch it.
I wanted to watch Euphoria on there, but I just never got around to it.
Isn't Euphoria on Netflix though?
No.
I thought it was.
No, it's a HBO show.
It's HBO.
I want to watch Succession as well,
sorry.
which is also a HBO show that's only on Now TV.
Fair enough. I don't think people actually had Now TV as much as they did, if they're clearly all hyped up about Euphoria, but okay, fair enough, never mind.
It's weird, they get a lot of new releases, but I don't know if it's enough.
No.
I don't know if it's enough to keep up with the worst streaming service the UK has to offer.
But speaking of shows we watched on streaming services.
Yep, we watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, season 15. That came out on Netflix just recently. It's 8 episodes long, and they did it again. What do you know? It's brilliant. Like it could ever not be brilliant. This show is great. How do they knock it out the park nearly basically every time? It's 15 seasons long now. How do they do it? I mean, I think it's great. What did you guys think?
Yeah,
it was really fun.
It is really great.
Mhm.
We watched it all in one sitting.
Yeah, we did. It's just, I don't know how they are managing to be so consistent still. Like, I do think there was maybe one season a few years ago that I thought was a bit hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, pretty much everything has been really great, and it just seems to get better and better as it goes along. I think the guys are getting a lot more mature.
Yeah.
And are kind of writing about really prevalent issues, and I think that's something that's keeping it so fresh. It's kind of like South Park as well, how, because that show is always about, it's always modern, it's always about modern issues, it remains funny because they're always writing about something new. They're not constantly rehashing the same shit, like, I don't know, something like The Simpsons, or most sitcoms like Friends or Big Bang Theory that go on for 10 seasons.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it had. I didn't even realise it was on season 15. I felt like I got to about season 11 or 12 and I thought, oh, okay, what's the next season? And then I just look and it's 15 and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the longest running sitcom in American history.
I don't know, it just took me by surprise. But I think it's because I've just not really, when you just watch them, you don't really keep a track of how many episodes you're watching, especially when you're like me and you either watch them all in one go or you watch them over the space of 6 years. So I just don't pay attention to that kind of thing.
It's interesting. It never comes across as cynical or they're doing it just for the money. It always feels like they want to make the show.
They're having a good time, aren't they?
All the main actors and Rob McElhenney, who created the show, and it clearly has a massive love for it, and I think people have really taken it to heart. I think it is I would say that it's I'd say that it is the longest running sitcom for a reason, because it has managed to stay consistently interesting and fresh and new. And in this one, I think they made the right choice with going to a different setting. So they go to Ireland. It's only 8 episodes long. It's very digestible, very easily digestible. I think they use the scenery there and the new kind of fish out of water dynamic that they've got going on to their advantage.
Yeah, the first 4 episodes are just normal It's Always Sunny stuff, and then the last 4 are all one interconnected story about them going to Ireland.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
It kind of almost plays like a movie in a way.
Yeah.
How it's this contained story that's kind of just cut up into 4 episodes.
I do kind of appreciate that they have these things that are kind of ongoing and current, obviously Dennis getting COVID and stuff. But it's not when you have sitcoms and stuff now that talk about things that are fresh, but they feel dated already. Do you know what I mean?
I was kind of worried when they started mentioning COVID, and I was like, oh, okay, it happened here as well. It happened in this universe. Are they going to go this direction? But they actually managed to pull it off. It works very well within the show. Dennis has COVID, and he goes insane, and that's always funny. He plays who's it? Glenn Howerton. He's fucking fantastic in that role.
Yeah, he is really great. He's such a fantastic actor. I
didn't realise how similar he sounded to. This is going to sound really stupid because I know everyone sounds like themselves, but he seems to act a bit like his own character. And it's the way he talks. It's really weird. He was on there. I was watching this TikTok of him on Men's Health, and he talks almost in the exact same way that like Dennis talks, and it's really, really weird.
Well, I think in a lot of ways the characters, because they wrote and created the show themselves, I think they're kind of meant to be overinflated versions of themselves.
Oh, okay,
I think so.
right. It kind of makes sense because he was like, "Oh, I'm what you call a plant-forward man. I eat mostly vegan, but sometimes I sprinkle meat in there. Oh, I drink coffee 90% of the time." Like, he came across to me as like insane. I'm not gonna lie.
I think the characters are like, the pitch is almost like, what if we played ourselves, just like really heightened versions of ourselves, and we're all like horrendous narcissists?
Yeah,
and
like
that's
it
the whole
really,
premise.
it was really funny to actually like watch that video back and go, "Oh, okay, I can totally see where this is coming from."
I really love what they actually kind of progressed the story of the show in this new season, like by introducing Charlie's dad.
Yeah.
Something that's been teased at all throughout everything in the show before, but we've never actually met him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a really great reveal, and I love everything between them two in the show, and like Frank getting really jealous of this new guy
and
trying to get him to eat poo.
No, that was good.
I think it was like, what is it, the last episode where like he's carry the body up of, because the dad dies. Spoiler alert, sorry.
I think we spoiled quite a lot, to be honest.
Spoilers for Sunny season 15. So like the dad, sorry, too late now. You can like edit that, like spoiler alert.
Yeah,
and
add it
before
it's in the description of the episode.
Yeah,
if you don't read it, it's your own fault.
It's your own fault, mate. Sorry. So yeah, the dad dies, and then there was like a really great part, I think, where like Charlie Day really got to shine with his acting, where he's like just kind of breaks down. He starts like sobbing in the rain.
So sad.
And he says like, you were never there for me. Why am I even doing this for you? It was really like heartfelt, sweet kind of moment, I think, for the character.
I thought it was really sad. Like, before I'd watched the episode, I actually saw that bit on, hilariously, a TikTok, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so sad. What's that from?" And then we watched it like a week later, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then with the context, it made me just feel really, really sad. And I was like,
it made me
"Oh,
emotional.
it was really
sad.
upsetting."
I've really enjoyed them saying that he died from COVID that was most likely given to him by Frank because he's not vaccinated. He just has like the pills and the deworming tablets and stuff
he's
that Trump
asymptomatic.
told him about.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I like that they kind of don't linger around Charlie's dad too long, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, oh, he's there and then he's not there.
He's not a major character.
Yeah, no, I kind of appreciate the fact that he wasn't like written in to be like this weird like new thing.
And I also appreciate that they don't try and make it like overly sentimental, like they're meeting and just like the character generally. I think it's handled exactly how you'd expect this show to handle it. It never like tries to get like overly emotional and
too much.
pandering. It's still really funny.
Yeah, well, you can't cut to like from something that's like super emotional with Charlie's dad over to like, I don't know, like Dee's storyline where she's trying to get this acting gig and she keeps getting hit by cars. She just doesn't balance.
Yeah, she has like huge bumps on her forehead that she keeps like pushing into her body, and it causes her to start like bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really gross.
It's gross.
Some of that stuff was really horrible. But like the weird part is like watching her like flip over cars was actually really funny. I don't know why. Like that normally getting hit by a car would not be funny, but it's just the way you'd be like, "Who should put straight back down?"
Yeah.
Oh, what a show!
I'm always glad to see Danny DeVito. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think this show definitely cemented him as like, oh yeah, he's that great for a reason. Everybody knows who Danny DeVito is for a reason.
Like,
a legend.
He's like my national treasure.
Fantastic, you know. And this is like, this is my favorite role that he's ever played, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because he's done so much with it, but like I do think he just really plays that part incredibly well, and it never gets boring or stale.
I think everyone just kind of perfectly fits the characters.
Yeah, like it's kind of, I know it's the whole point, but it's amazing how likably unlikable they are. Like, I really hate them, but I also really like them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and like, you know that, like, they're all just terrible people, but I'd hang out with them. Like, if one of them was like, "Oh, you want to go get a drink?" I'd be like, "Yeah, all right then."
Yeah. I think one of the things also that's keeping it fresh is the fact that they're not just doing the same things again.
Yeah.
Like, they've kind of cut out a lot of the like supporting characters that used to come in a lot, like the McPoyle brothers.
Oh, and like the
they're not in
homeless
there at
people
all.
and stuff.
And
Yeah, good.
yeah, what's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the homeless guy who was like a priest.
Yeah.
Can't remember
Oh, yeah.
his name now.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's not really in it at all anymore. And I think it's actually working well for the show.
Yeah, no, good. The only one they really bring back is the waitress.
Yeah.
You know,
And even
But
then,
that's
she's
'cause,
hardly
like,
ever in it.
She's married to
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Day. So.
but even so, you know, she's still good. She's still a good character, I think. And I
Mm.
like that nobody knows her name.
Do you know what? At one point, I think I actually turned around and said, "Do we actually ever like? Did we ever know
No.
her name?
Yeah.
No,
But that's kind of the beauty
no, but
of
that's
it.
what I was
It's
asking.
like how in Malcolm in the Middle, you never find out their surname.
Although people do know his surname, supposedly. Like when you read articles and stuff, people do know his last
Oh, yeah,
name.
I've
But if
heard
someone
about
was
that,
to say,
actually.
"What's the waitress's name?" no one would know.
No one knows and it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter. But there was actually a point where I turned around and thought, "Do we know?"
I hope they never reveal it, because it would
Mhm.
take away from the comedy of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
definitely. Good season.
Yeah, it was
Good
great.
show.
Yeah.
Keep carrying it on. If they want to make it, then keep it up because
If you want to keep making it,
like,
we'll
you
keep
want to keep
watching
making
it. Yeah.
I'll keep watching it. You know,
It's confirmed to be going till at least season 18.
Okay,
that's cool.
that's fine. I mean,
You don't want them to run it into the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm kind of hoping that by 18 they've either wrapped it up or it's not shit.
But then nevertheless, a show you could say that about, you know, a 15 season run, you know. If they
Yeah,
keep
no, it's
managing
true,
to
it's
make
true.
it good, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
either keep it consistent or if it gets a bit shit, I think you should just kind of stop.
I can't think of many shows that have gone on this long and remained as consistent as it.
I don't know any. I can't think of a single one.
Like South Park's the only other one I can think of.
Even then,
Even then.
I don't even know if that.
I think it up until season 15 it was pretty good. It was only until like 18, 19 they started to go downhill a bit.
Well, you know, Futurama could be that
That is true, actually.
when they bring that back and they resurrect that show.
Yeah,
Go
that
on
could
for 50
be.
more seasons.
Yeah, that could be terrible. Who knows?
Should we quickly talk about Texas Chainsaw? Like very, very briefly.
Go on.
I'm just going to sum it up in a sentence.
You guys watched the Texas Chainsaw new Netflix movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The film that was made for a cinematic release, but test audiences hated it so much they just gave up and put it on Netflix.
do you
Brilliant.
know what? I don't even blame them because if I paid £5 to see that film, I'd ask for my money back. It's only
Yeah.
£5, but it's the principle. I'm not
It's-
enjoying myself. I'm not having a good time.
It's a piece of shit. It's like super, super short. You can tell it's been heavily cut down.
Yeah, it's.
So I think when the credits roll, it's only an hour, 15 minutes into the movie.
It is super cringy as well. Like I fucking hate Gen Z humor
yeah,
so
that's basically
much.
all it is.
Like I'm getting old now. I must be getting old because I fucking hate Gen Z humor. Like, oh, you gotta get your phone out. You gotta be cancelled, bro. Meh. Shut
yeah,
the
that's a
fuck
bit in the
up.
film. Like Leatherface goes onto like this big bus of like millennials, and one of them gets out a phone and starts Instagram streaming it, and he's like, "You do anything, you'll get cancelled, bro." It literally makes no
I
sense.
swear to God.
It's like the cringiest bit of the film.
Yeah, like that's the kind of like dated thing that I'm talking about. Like when you're talking about shows, like it's kind of like reminiscent if like The Simpsons had done an episode of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what I would imagine
Yeah,
it being
it's like just the worst kind of slasher where it's just nothing but blood and guts,
It
and
was
the
really
characters
boring,
are all
though,
really unlikable.
even
The
the characters
story's
were
boring. There's
yeah.
nothing really interesting going
Even the
on.
deaths were boring. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean, they were kind of cool at points, but there's nothing I've not seen before.
nothing new.
They're completely ripping off the Halloween like 2018 movie where that film was all about the original character from the first movie coming back years later to get revenge on the killer. They're just doing that exact thing here. Like they've got the surviving girl from the first movie who's recast because that woman died, who wants to take revenge out on Leatherface,
God.
who in reality would be 80 years old, but
And in
he's
the film
still
he's
moving
only, like,
around like
50.
a 30-year-old.
No, he's definitely like 40 or something, but it's just
Still. Yeah,
it's just not
piece
accurate.
of shit. 1 out of 10.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna rate it. Fuck off.
These movies, they want to pit the younger generations against each other. They want to pit us millennials against the Gen Zers.
Yeah,
we can't
sorry.
let
I mean,
this happen, guys.
I'm sorry. I
We have to
could
fight
be.
together.
I could be completely wrong about which generation of humor this comes from, because you could argue it's both probably. But what I mean is, it's cringy and I just don't like it, regardless of whether it's millennial or Gen Z. It's fucking awful. Please stop doing it.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Stop it, Netflix,
Cringe
please.
humor.
And I give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That is exactly it. I give it up.
I didn't even like that original one.
No, you didn't. You really
No,
didn't.
I did not. I complained
did.
about it the entire time.
I like the first 2, but the rest of the series is basically unwatchable.
Yeah. We watched some movies. They're romance movies. It was a genre special, and we got loved up. Whoo boy! Just after Valentine's Day. And we watched 3 movies. We watched Anomalisa, we watched Roman Holiday, and what do you know? We watched But I'm a Cheerleader, and Chris chose the first movie, so take it away.
Yeah, I picked Anomalisa, directed by Charlie Kaufman and Duke Johnson. It's a stop motion movie about a character called Michael Stone, who's a inspirational speaker for customer service, who goes away for basically a big speech in, I think it's New York or something. While he's there, he's kind of, the whole point of the movie is everyone he sees is the exact same. They all have the same face and same voice, which we'll talk more about in a bit. And his entire being gets completely shook up when he meets a woman called Lisa, who actually speaks with a different voice and actually looks different. That's kind of the very basic plot of the movie, because it's like a very deep movie where there's a lot more to get into. But what do we all think of this movie? We've all seen it before, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's a weird one, you know?
Definitely.
It's very strange. And I mean, right off the bat, it's all animated. They did like like a Kickstarter thing to get it funded.
Yeah.
All looks amazing. No penny was wasted. It was very short, very digestible. In however you want to interpret that, I suppose. I don't think it's particularly accessible to a wide audience, because going for something very strange, and I don't even know if I understand what that is completely at the moment, having only seen it twice. Kind of, I feel like it's a movie that you could interpret one way, in kind of a more optimistic way, but then I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking that it had a very pessimistic view on the human experience either.
Yeah, I definitely got the pessimistic view of things. But then I guess it is that kind of thing where you kind of take the light and the dark from that film. I feel like you can take it both ways if you really, really wanted to search for it.
I've kind of found myself every time I've watched it having a completely different experience. I remember the first time I watched it was when it had just come out, and I think I turned it off like halfway through or half an hour into the movie because I wasn't gelling with it at all. Then when I gave it another go a couple of years ago, I just absolutely fell in love with it, and it really resonated with me in a lot of ways, and I found myself really relating with the character of Michael Stone. And then the other 2 times I watched it, I just had very different experiences with it, which I found quite interesting. I feel like it's one of those movies that every time you watch it, you kind of pick up something different, or can experience it in a different way, because there is so much going on. It isn't very simple in a way.
No, I think it's a lot to do with familiarity and having to live a life that is how we kind of see it is sometimes it's monotonous, and sometimes you have to do the same thing every day, and that can get taxing. It can get emotionally taxing, and you know, no one's really above that. And we can all say, you gotta look at the bright side of life, man. You gotta look at all the little pieces that make life so great. And yeah, perhaps you should. But sometimes it can get to you. And I think that's what this movie's about. I think it's about having just the same things going on day in and day out. And this is a character who I guess could be very relatable to a lot of people. I think and that's why I don't think it's going for a very pessimistic view as much as I do kind of sort of take it like that. I think it goes with like the good and the bad of seeing life in that kind of way, you know, because I guess you could also interpret it as, yeah, maybe if things are just going the same way all the time, every day of your life, maybe you should make changes to spice things up and have different experiences, and that's what makes life worth living.
Yeah, I think Michael kind of has almost a cynical view on the world where he looks at everyone and obviously he thinks everything is just the same, everyone's the same, and he's different, and he doesn't want to live this life that everyone else is living. But throughout, it's almost like he's coming to terms with the fact that he is also kind of like everyone else, and no matter how much he runs away from that, he can't avoid it. Like, it's especially shown where there's like that great scene where he's looking in a mirror and he kind of, his face starts like freaking out, and he notices there's like a seam in the side of his face, kind of like him realizing that he is basically like a puppet like everyone else is. They're like, because all the characters obviously are puppets, and I feel like that's kind of intentional towards what the film's kind of going for. It's kind of everyone's like almost being controlled by a higher power, kind of all living the same life in a way.
Oh, I thought he was just coming apart. He just seems like he just does seem like a man who's just on the edge of falling apart, to be honest.
You know, when they make these puppets for stop motion animation, they usually have the eye seam that you see the characters have in this movie. And usually I think it's edited out with the VFX, but they don't do that in this movie, and it's obviously very intentional. I do like that they chose to keep that in, because not only does it serves a purpose within the narrative of the story, but it also makes the characters themselves recognizable, and like this looks like nothing else. You know, you're not going to get this kind of art direction and like character style and artistry with how they look anywhere else. Because usually you just edit, like, I guess, you know, it goes with like the lines on the faces or like the seams.
I like the cracks.
But also like the textures as well, and the kind of what they're able to do with the materials that they're using, which all really melds well with everything that's going on. You got like that first shot where the plane's going through the sky, and you're like, this doesn't really look like real, but it's like, this looks like nothing I've seen in any movie, let alone animation. I think it really does very well at standing apart from everything else.
Yeah, it's very distinguishable. Like if
that
you
genre, or like that, it's not really a genre, in that way of filmmaking.
Style.
Yeah, because like if someone was to take like a screenshot and obviously if you've seen the film and be like, oh, where's that from? You'd just like instantly know where it was from.
Yeah, I think something I love about like the designs and the look of all of the like puppetry and set designs and stuff is that it looks very, very lifelike, but at the same time very artificial. And I think that is something else that's very intentional. I think a lot of the sets and the lighting in the scenes all look very natural and lifelike. That's something I really love. Like anytime they're in like a hotel room, it looks like all the lighting is actually coming from the hotel lights and from nothing else. And then you got some stuff that do look really unnatural, like the material of like their skin, and like there's that bit early on where he's calling room service and the phone looks like really weird.
That phone looks disgusting.
Looks like it looks jelly.
Yeah, it's like jelly, like
it's
plasticky
horrible.
sort of thing. It just doesn't look real at all. There's like a few things throughout that are kind of like that.
I guess it's that kind of like, I don't know, it feels kind of almost like simulation, like, but I feel like, I don't know, it comes across as both fluid and stiff at the same time, but I think that is purely just down to like the materials that have been used and like how they move, because they do move quite fluidly, but they also move quite stiff.
It's also like the perception of the human experience as well, and that's kind of like, sometimes you get experiences where, oh, he's going about his day, but everything's the same, and he's like, yeah, you can call these things out, and even when he does call them out, people are like, yeah, like yeah, we fucking know. Like it's like every time you get into a conversation with someone about like how the world works and how like we should, you're like, oh, isn't the government doing a terrible job? And like, shouldn't we be living our life in society in a different kind of way? It's like, yeah, probably, but nobody has the answer to these questions, you know. And that also ties into like the artificiality of the animation itself, and also, you know, you get parts that do look more realistic, and you kind of try to strive for what's like the realism in a way, but then you can also get lost in the escapism of it all.
Yeah, I think that realism comes in quite a lot throughout, especially like through a lot of the writing. I think Charlie Kaufman, I've said before on the podcast, he's my favourite screenwriter, and I think some of the writing in this it's just him on top form. I think is really hilarious, and both the main characters are really deft and well written, but the dialogue, it sounds so realistic. It sounds like just a real conversation that these characters are really having.
Yeah,
and I love that each character kind of speaks in a very different way. It never sounds like it's coming from one unique voice. Everyone sounds very distinct. They all have strong personalities just in the way that they speak, and that's something that really adds to the realism.
It's a testament to Tom Noonan as well, who's doing most of the voices in here, and as he kind of gives each character different inflections, you kind of you understand, oh yeah, he's talking to this person and they're a separate entity from the person he was talking to earlier, even though it's the exact same voice. Like, oh man, he's a fantastic actor, I think, and he really gets into these people's minds, I think, very well. You know, he's playing like Michael's wife, who's very upset with him, or like as soon as he gets on the phone with his son, his voice changes ever so slightly, and you're like, oh yeah, he's talking to his son, but it's the same voice.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive work, I think. At points I kind of forget that it's the same voice.
Yeah. It also kind of, it's like listening to how characters talk in this movie makes you realize that every other movie you've watched is really artificial in the way that dialogue is delivered.
Yeah, I think that's something that Charlie Kaufman does really well in a lot of things, but never more so than in this. I also think David Thewlis and Jennifer Jason Leigh are also both great in the movie.
Yeah.
I think they do incredible jobs. This was like one of my favourite David Thewlis performances. I think he just really transforms into that character, and just it's really perfect voice acting.
Yeah, I love him. He's such a great actor. He's underrated almost. And I hate to say it, but like because he's so big, but it's like, you say like David Thewlis to like anyone else, and they're going to be like, who the hell is that?
Do you know who he is, Darcy?
He was in Harry Potter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's that guy with the moustache, right? Oh, who did he play? Oh no.
You can do it.
Wolfman.
Yeah, he was the Wolfman.
I don't know his name, sorry. But that was him, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. All the Harry Potter fans are going to attack me.
I don't know who it is either.
Lupin.
Lupin.
Lupin, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even fucking like Harry Potter.
I know the character, I just don't know his name.
Yeah, no, I recognised his voice and I was like, who the fuck is that? So I looked it up and I went, oh, okay. That was it. Yeah.
I like how he's talking because he's the only like British guy here, and like nobody can understand what he's saying sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he's in America and they're
I'm
like,
here
what?
for a day.
Yeah.
I feel that though. Like
There's also a lot of like, I think, parallels to Lost in Translation, where I got like heavy influence from that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Still need to see it.
I meet a girl abroad, fall in love, and then and that's like that one little thing, you know? I think one thing I came away with was like this outlook that he has on life, where I'm going to say that he wasn't really up for it, you know? I think he's a conflicted character. I'm like, yeah, if you have this kind of outlook.
Up for life?
Yeah, where he's like, everyone's kind of the same, but when you see it, you do see briefly from like Lisa's perspective, her friend Emily and she has a completely different face. Like she sees her and it's like somebody different, but like he sees everyone as the same.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but if you have this kind of outlook, you're probably not going to live a very fulfilled life. You know? And
Yeah.
it's like exhausting a porn video, until it stops being able to make you come. So you just go on to the next one and on now, in a never-ending rabbit hole and an increasingly weird video, some of which you don't even realise were considered porn, and it's not even that it's hot. It's just different.
I mean,
and you look back and you realise you sat all alone with your dick in your hand. And
I hope you wrote all of that down.
I bet he didn't. He's just like strolling off.
You painted everyone with the same brush.
Like,
you never allowed yourself to settle into something that could have made you happy if you had the right mindset.
Do you know what? I do kind of agree with that, because I think sometimes it must be so exhausting to be so fucking miserable.
Yeah,
all the
I kind of got the idea. He's like a character who's like having a midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
he was happy and now everything's kind of gone to shit and he's kind of losing his mind.
I think maybe he. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not like married with children, but I could imagine doing that kind of monotonous sort of like lifestyle must be just. Maybe he's just bored. You ever just think maybe he's just bored?
It had happened before though.
Yeah, maybe.
Like he met this woman, and
perhaps.
then they turned into just like the same face that he sees everywhere else, and now he's on to the next one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, It
I feel like that's kind of the point of the film in a way.
Maybe he can't make connections with people like he wants to.
The whole film, I feel like a lot of it's inspired by this delusion called the Fragoli delusion, which
is that the one where everyone's face looks exactly the same?
Yeah, it's like it's like a rare disorder in which a person basically has the belief that everyone is in fact one person who just changes like their appearance or is in disguise.
That's the philosophical one.
So like in the film, Michael stays at the Fragoli Hotel. Apparently, because the film it started as like an audio play with these three actors, and Charlie Kaufman credited himself as Francis Fragoli. He didn't use his own name.
Oh, okay.
So
I was thinking of that other one, that like the other sort of disorder where like you can't distinguish people's like facial features.
Yeah,
it's not quite the same, but that's quite interesting actually. Now that you bring it up, it's a very philosophical way of looking at a film if you're into that kind of thing. Like obviously you can look at it from a life aspect, but if you're looking at it from a philosophical aspect, that's actually pretty interesting. I fucking love philosophy, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also got a sense that it was kind of like analysing like older generations, or like how they live life. I think there's like a statistic that's like the most likely demographic to cheat is like men in their 70s.
70s?
Yeah. Or something like that.
Wow. I can't imagine that happening though.
They've lived their life and they're like, all right, I'm bored now, so I'm just going to go out and fuck. And I think that's kind of like what it looks at as well.
Yeah. He is bored with his life. Like maybe once upon a time he saw his wife and his child and they were distinct people. They were unique people, but he's so bored and sick of seeing them and going through the same thing, same monotonous life every single day, that it's now just kind of they're kind of everyone else, and he can't really recognize what attracted him to them before. He can't recognize them anymore.
Yeah, I guess
it's like, oh, here comes Lisa, and she's new and she's different, and
she's a breath of fresh air.
Go
she's
for it.
She's just like me.
And then slowly, even not even slowly, it's like the morning after they sleep together, he gets annoyed with her because she's got like little tics and flaws that he doesn't agree with. Like, oh, you're clicking your fork against your teeth. Can you not do that? Or you're being a little controlling. And it's like, he's found something different, but he's still wanting to mitigate her flaws, and she's becoming like the others.
And she starts like talking like the taxi driver at the beginning. She starts like talking about the zoo the exact same way that he did, and he realizes then that she isn't actually really unique at all. She is like everyone else. She is, there's no one really like that.
I think that was a lot to do with guilt as well.
Yeah.
And I think, that's probably something that happened with his wife, and now it's going to happen with Lisa, and I think it's kind of going for like, familiarity breeds contempt and complacency,
Maybe, yeah.
If that's your kind of outlook on life, which, you kind of shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, he definitely came across to me as like the most miserable bastard in the world.
He's a miserable bastard,
Yeah, they show that quite a lot throughout. Like there's a really great scene early on where he calls up an ex and they go for a drink. And I think that scene especially is like a really great insight into like his loneliness. Like he kind of he's almost like regretting this failed relationship and wondering if something could have come from it, and he's just lonely and wants some sort of connection. He's going back to people he had a connection with in the past, hoping that maybe being with them, he'll see them as someone different, and that will kind of reignite his happiness. It's like, it's really, really uncomfortable to watch, but I think it perfectly develops the character.
I think Charlie Kaufman is a man who knows how to write sad, lonely men very well.
Is he a sad, lonely man?
No. I think it's like more to do with the experiences we have as human beings we don't often tell people about. You know, it's
so he
obviously
could have been a sad, lonely man.
Or just like that's a heightened aspect of experiences that he's been through before.
Yeah, maybe.
And there's a lot to take out of this movie where I thought, oh yeah, I've also had that kind of mindset sometimes, or like I've also thought that I was in a rut, or like just I was bored with the life I was living, or like there's something that needed to change.
Right, let's be honest.
Same thing.
Who hasn't felt like that though? Who hasn't woken up like, I don't know, at least some point in their life and gone, fucking hell, I'm so bored of doing this. Yeah. Like, who hasn't done that?
Yeah. I think something else Charlie Kaufman's really, really good at is writing like female love interests that at first like seem so quirky and different and unique and unlike anyone else, but
the manic pixie girl.
Yeah, exactly. And as you get to get to know them, you realise that they're not exactly like that. But obviously, Eternal Sunshine's an incredible example of that. I feel like there's a lot of similarities in the relationship there and in this.
You want to feel like there's something within someone else that could heighten you, you know? Or like that would make your life better, and you see something in other people who just like, oh yeah, I can take parts of this person and it'll make me more fulfilled, or it'll make me better in some way. And you get to know them more, and it's like we're all kind of living these similar experiences in life, and we're all kind of grasping at basically the same thing.
I love the fact that Michael is a customer service like guy, because that's a role in which you're not really allowed to have your own unique personality. You kind of have to be approachable whether you are or not. You kind of have to fit into this particular mold, because you have to leave customers happy but also represent the company you work for at the same time. I think it's like the perfect role.
Can you? There is absolutely, you can't have your own opinions, and if someone yells at you, you just have to fucking stand there like a dick.
And I think there's like a great irony in this character particularly being viewed as this like great like speaker in this role, like a guy who's written a book, he's doing a huge speech, despite the fact he kind of is struggling to be like everyone else, and he's very much not like in this speech. He doesn't really conform to this speech. He kind of keeps breaking away from it and letting his own personality show.
It's the great contradiction, is it not?
Yeah.
To be in that kind of role where, you know, he's talking about, oh, focus on what's special to each individual and all this, and like, oh, just make them feel like you're there for them. And, you know, that's not what he's doing, though. Because he sees everyone as
everyone's the same.
And there's like this double-edged blade, I think, where it's like, you have to see what's interesting and individual about everyone else, but you're not allowed to be that yourself. When you work in these sorts of roles, you're just supposed to be like an archetype, because that's what they've mapped out for you. And if you go out of this binary that they've set you could get, you know, reprimanded for it.
To be honest, I think everyone in customer services, not customer service people, but customers themselves, they all want the same shit at the end of the day. I don't think anyone's special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people come in because they want their fucking discounted shit. I just don't understand it.
They all think they're great and individuals, but
do.
What do you think? We don't deal with 1,000 of you every day?
Yeah, literally.
You
They're
think
like,
you're the first person to talk like this?
Like, I hate when I used to work in retail and people would come in and be like, oh yeah, I came in like an hour ago, and I'm like, you think I'm going to remember you from an hour ago?
Exactly. Yeah.
I hate that.
So maybe
I hate that
in
so
that
much.
there's like something to do with, you just see the same faces, you don't register anything, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same problems. What do we think is going on with that sex thing?
I was
that sex
literally
doll?
right
Oh
about to.
no! Why did you bring
that
it
little doll,
up?
that little that robot that he brings to his son?
Oh, I really did not like. No.
We'll get into the other thing later. But what the hell was up with that robot, that Asian robot
the
sex doll
blowjob robot.
that was like leaking semen?
There is
I don't get
a theory that Lisa does not actually exist, and she is just like a figment of his imagination, and he makes love to that sex doll. Because, like, obviously Lisa's got a scar above her eye, which is in the same location as the doll. The doll's obviously Japanese, and Lisa brings up the fact she loves the Japanese language and says that Anomalisa's like goddess of heaven or something in Japanese. They both like can sing. Like Lisa sings "Girls Want to Have Fun" at one point, and the doll sings at the end. And obviously, the idea of it leaking semen out of the doll kind of
indicates that
he fucked her. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'll subscribe to that. I definitely believe that. Now you said that.
I believe it, but I don't like that.
No.
That is fucking gross. But I could believe it happened because Michael's a very lonely man.
I believe it happened, especially because the sex scene was fucking weird.
Yeah. See, it could have been just as awkward because he's like fucking a torso. Well, not even a torso.
I think it's a really interesting theory, and I feel like Charlie Kaufman definitely intentionally kind of hinted at that. But it's the ending scene of Lisa and Emily in the car together that kind of puts me
dispels
off
it a little bit.
That.
I mean, he could have dreamt that. He could have, because he could have thought it was Lisa.
I would say yes, but because you see Emily's real face, I'd say no. Because at that point, it's from the perspective of Lisa, because she's seeing the world as it is rather than through Michael's eyes that we.
I'll be honest, I didn't even see Emily's face change, to be honest.
Yeah, it did.
These are things that just
I only noticed it this time around.
Don't notice, like, but see, I'm just one of those people. I just suck at noticing stuff, so don't worry about it. It's nothing about the film.
Should we talk about the sex scene then?
Go ahead.
I don't want to talk about the sex scene. It was horrifically awkward, and me and Max were like, if this happened in real life, we would not be doing this.
This is weird. This is creepy. Why is he doing this? This isn't how sex works. And I think now that you've said, he was probably just having a wank over the sex doll. I think
that's better.
Actually fits.
Yeah, I think that would be so much
stilted. It's quite stilted scene. It's quite awkward, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the time when you sleep with someone the first time, it can be awkward because you're kind of discovering each other's bodies for the first time. You don't really understand what each other are into, so it kind of makes sense for there to be this really, really overly awkward sex scene. It kind of, I find it kind of relatable in a way, not to this extent, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't know, something about it just seemed a bit off to me. It seemed a bit.
It seemed almost,
robotic.
it seemed almost like it was like the most stiff thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Apparently, he was like talk. He was like, "Oh, do you talk during sex? Just make some noises." This is weird.
To be fair though, if it was that dull, I guess that could make sense.
I think he just liked the idea of hearing another voice.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that's why he got her to sing as well. I was like, this is weird that he's asking her to sing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," but then if that's the only voice you've heard that doesn't sound like Tom Noonan, maybe you'd want to hear someone sing.
Apparently, it took them 6 months to animate that sex scene because of they wanted to make it much more realistic than silly and comedic. I think they looked at the sex scene in Team America, like another puppet movie, as kind of what exactly to not make it like. They wanted it to.
I've not seen this, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I assume is it just like crashing together? Yeah,
because it's like Thunderbirds puppets. So you see the strings
like bits
and stuff.
Of plastic.
So it's literally just like people slapping together.
Yeah, but then I guess it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same tone of movie, is it? Like at least Team America, that's kind of in its context, isn't it? Just slapping bits of plastic together. But this is a bit more sophisticated, I suppose. Although I did hate it because it made me cringe so much.
That's kind of the point, though. It's meant to be uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, it did a good job of that.
The type of people they are.
Yeah, they're very awkward people.
Like it's suited, but I hated every second of it. Like I was just like, I can't wait for this to be over.
Every conversation Michael has with anyone is really, really uncomfortable, and you can't tell whether he actually even wants to have this conversation. He seems like he's always trying to get out of talking.
Yeah, he
to
feels
someone.
like he either digs himself a hole or he just doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But then, why would you want to be there if you're like the most miserable man alive? I guess just one of them.
I like that dream that he has where he goes into like the basement of the hotel because like the manager wants to talk to him or something. It's in this big like warehouse room and like it's just a small desk on like the other side of the room and he's like, oh yeah, you gotta get in the buggy and drive over
Yeah, that
to
was
the
so
to my
stupid.
desk here that's illuminated with one light and there's also like some massive fuck off hole in the middle of the room for no reason.
Yeah, I like the bit where he's like, I don't know how to put this, but I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
And I'm like,
okay.
I prefer the build up to it where he's like, what did you want? And he's like, doesn't matter.
yeah.
And then he goes, nothing.
Yeah.
And then he gets on his little treadmill. You know what, Michael? I just want to tell you I love you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you're going to have an affair, have it with me or anyone, just not Lisa. It's like, yeah, don't go out the binary. Lisa is the Anomalisa. She's the anomaly, you know?
It's so
I know there was a
bizarre.
dream, but it was like, that speaks to his views on the world that he's living in.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it kind of almost reveals his subconscious in a way of him realizing that he's not really that special. He's also kind of like everyone. He's
Mhm.
kind of being tempted to fit into this mold that everyone else is.
Yeah, I got the feeling that other people saw him the way he saw other people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
all of those conversations just led to me thinking that it's just...
Yeah.
Anything else?
Should we go on to ratings? Unless you have more to... I know it's a very dense movie,
And
which
also,
is insane because it's like only like an hour and a half long.
and it's also quite late, Chris.
I think I have actually gone through everything in some way.
Okay, everyone
Sure.
rate.
Yeah, sure, we can rate it. What are we doing out of?
Good
Do it.
Question.
The one... I like that. Oh, wait. No, one quote was like, pressing buttons is good, clean fun. Yeah, okay.
Japanese sex dolls.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of my favourite movies of all time. I think Charlie Kaufman's an absolute genius, and this is another masterpiece from him. He's unparalleled. I think I give it 10 Japanese sex dolls out of 10.
Mhm.
Probably like in my top 5, maybe top 10 favourite films of all time.
This is one of my least favourite Charlie Kaufman movies, and I love it.
I love this.
I'll give it 9 Japanese sex dolls out of 10.
Just goes to show just how consistent great he is.
Mhm.
I think out of all the films I've seen of his, there's only one I don't like.
I don't think I've
Sure.
seen enough. I think I've seen like 2 of them.
You've seen
probably.
quite a lot of them. You've
Have
seen
I?
Being John Malkovich adaptation.
Mhm.
Oh, I love
Um,
being John Malkovich.
What's the Eternal Sunshine, Synecdoche,
yeah.
New York. There's
Synecdoche.
Oh man, yeah, no, they're all pretty good. I mean, I would actually say this is probably maybe it's one of the better ones. I don't know, but it's.
I still think he topped
dunno.
himself with that new one that he did. I'm thinking of anything.
That was great.
God, it was
Oh,
good.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh man, you gotta.
But do you know what? I'm not even gonna ramble on. 8 Japanese sex dolls out of 10.
Cool. I recommended a movie.
Are we not doing Darcy's for? Oh no, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I'm next, motherfucker.
It's because we watched
Oh,
Darcy's
look,
second.
here
so
we
I'm
go.
confused
When
now.
do you ever go first?
Yeah, Chris and Darcy got into a fight in my home. I had to leave and let them duke it out.
Yeah, it got really intense. I was throwing mugs. He was swearing at me.
I recommended a movie.
You did.
It's
So
called-
brutal. I was throwing mugs. He was swearing.
Yeah. My movie is the 1953 movie directed by William Wyler. And it's called Roman Holiday. And it's about a woman called Princess Anne. And she is in Rome, Italy. She goes there. She's on a tour. And she is not really loving it. So she runs away into the night. And she gets picked up in a sort of way by what's his name, Joe, played by that guy,
Gregory Peck.
Gregory
yeah.
Peck. Yeah. So Gregory Peck takes Audrey Hepburn, who plays Anne, back to his because she's tired, and it's all about like this one day that they kind of spend together where he wants to get this interview with her because he's a journalist, but he has to not tell her that he's a journalist to get an interview, so he can spend more time with her to get more information, or just to like show her Rome. And it's kind of, it's about how they get to know each other, and I think it's also to do a lot with like the regimented lifestyle of those in the royal family. I've seen this 2 times now, and I really love it. I think it's fantastic. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just my surface level thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a good time, actually. I wasn't kind of expecting to like it at all, to be honest. It's not... I think it's...
You were like, oh man, it's a shame it's in black and white.
Well, okay, no, I mean... That's not why I didn't think I was going to like it, but it's...
I love throwing you under the bus like that.
I mean, it is a bit of a shame, though, because, I think, like...
I disagree.
I just think because when you have, like, these really pretty, like, locations and stuff, I'm always like, I wish I could see it in colour. But then there are so many films that are done in colour nowadays, it doesn't even matter, so it doesn't matter that much. But,
we've seen Rome in colour, and they're actually in Rome. It's shot on location. It looks fantastic.
Yeah,
the Lizzie
lovely.
McGuire movie's a good example of that.
I read that it was intentionally shot in black and white because they didn't want the characters to be upstaged by the romantic look of Rome.
Fair enough.
Actually, do you know what? Like, if you had said that before Max had thrown me under the bus, I would have gone, that's actually that's a
I was
great
waiting
idea.
for the perfect time.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a very pretty movie.
it is. It's gorgeous.
I once heard this movie described as one of the sexiest movies someone had ever seen. I was like, really, this one? So I watched it, and you know what? Maybe it's not sexy in the typical way, but Jesus Christ, this is some, it's suave, it is sexy.
It is suave.
The chemistry between Hepburn and Peck is just so palpable. You tell
I believe
they
it.
love each other, and it's only one day. I'm like, how do you manage to do this in one day?
Yeah.
This is fantastic acting. It's fantastic direction from Wyler. I'm amazed at how well they captured it in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, one of my favourite things about it is the chemistry between them and how it ramps up throughout the film. Like, when it starts off, you can tell that these are 2 people who don't really know each other well, don't really have much of a connection, but as they get to spend more time together, it kind of, their chemistry grows more and more and more, and I think it's just like a true testament to how great both of them are.
It feels believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if someone had said that they dated off set or something, I'd go, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, just like the little glances they give each other, or like, oh, look at me, oh.
But that's just like this. I think that's like the whole, like the body language can speak more than like they're like there's like little bits like even when they only like kiss like I don't know a couple of times, but like you could just see like the eyes.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, it was nice film.
I think it's like a classic kind of tale, This guy who's trying to secure an interview, but he's like spending more time with her, and he ends up falling in love with her. It's very obvious.
It's been done
so
a lot.
Obvious that like he falls in love with her. I just think they both play it very, very well, And she's kind of this free spirit she's kind of been born into this regime of like the royal family, and we've talked before about like the Crown and Spencer, and how like it clearly seems from an outside perspective that it's all very much set in stone, and it's like you have these appointments and you have to hit them, and everything's done for you, and you're not allowed to be autonomous as your own person. You just have to like go with a structure, and that's who you are, and you're not allowed to be a person really. And it's quite upsetting every time I watch these kinds of movies, and it's like, because it's so innate within us as human beings to be our own people and to be more free flowing.
Yeah, it must suck so much to be part of like a family like that, if that makes sense. Like every time I see one, I'm just more like realising the fact that I'm so glad that I'm not royal.
Yeah, it's not just limited to like the royal family.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like in that sort of situation.
Yeah. And then when she actually does, she leaves. She like Assassin's Creed's her way out of that shit.
Yeah, she was
like,
crouching and shit. She was
that?
like leaning.
Jumps out of a window and like scales the balcony. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit! And she actually just goes out and she has a lot of fun, and like
It was
she's having like
heroic.
a holiday. It's a Roman holiday, and she has a holiday and probably never had like an actual holiday in her life that wasn't centered around
She's probably never had a
her
day off.
duties, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much of the film she's saying that she's doing things that she's never done but have always wanted to do before.
Yeah, I like that. Like he gives her a bit of money because she can't get home otherwise. So and then she just like spends it on a haircut. She gets ice cream and flowers. It's like, yeah, because you just want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, they make a point of it early on that he only has like, is it 5,000 whatever it is left?
Lira, yeah,
Yeah, and he kind of ends up pretty much giving that all to her.
Yeah, because wasn't it supposed to be like, okay, so he wanted to borrow 30 off of his hipster photography friend, and that was supposed to be like $30 worth. So yeah, he had like $5 left or something, in theory.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes you just think, oh, he must be a nice guy. He's like, I'll give you $1.30 for breakfast. I love that about him.
He's also trying to escape with her, you know, in a type of way.
Because he didn't want to be there, did he?
No, he obviously wants to go back to New York. So New York, and he's trapped in Rome. You know, he's kind of living in this shitty apartment where, like, you know, he's got like a maid who like burst in on him. And I think, yeah, you get a sense from his character that he wants some sort of adventure, and he wants to be like away in some sort of way as well. He's like kind of sheltered in a different way to her.
Yeah, he seems kind of trapped in his job as well. Like he's almost like his boss is kind of like got him in chains almost. He's kind of stuck there, and he doesn't really have any way to get out or escape from that. And
he can't pay rent either. Like behind 2 months on rent.
Oh, I don't even know that bit.
Yeah, his landlord's like, you want to borrow money from me when you already owe me 2 months of rent? Like, that was fun.
Poor guy.
It's funny there's like not as many Italians in this movie. It's like mostly like British and Americans.
I like almost forgot for a handful of it that they were like even in Italy, but mostly because there was hardly any Italians.
Yeah, and then the Italians that are there are like raging Italians.
Yeah.
They're like exactly what you think of when you think of like Italians.
Yeah, well, like any of them actually Italian?
I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I felt like they were the most exaggerated versions of themselves. Like they were like, you know, like typical like Fat Tony kind of like Italian accent.
Yeah, no, they are Italian. I think they were literally just playing out for the camera.
It's so ridiculous.
Like that taxi driver.
Yeah.
It's like so over the top with it. Oh, I don't want to.
You don't want the
girl in my car. I don't want to. You don't want to. Yeah. They're all great. Yeah. Like the hairdresser who just looks like visibly upset when he has to cut off all her hair.
Oh yeah, no, because he's like, this much? Higher?
He's like more upset each time he goes higher. Yeah, it's and then she gets all cut off, which I guess is obviously symbolic of trying to cut yourself off from a different part of your life and go into something.
I'm guessing she also
into something new. You
maybe
know?
she wanted to kind of like hide as well because people wouldn't recognize her if she like cut her hair, but she was wearing the exact same clothes that she left in. So I was like, they're gonna know it's you. Or someone's going to know.
I mean, it's Audrey Hepburn. Come on.
That's true.
She's gorgeous.
It's true.
There's a lot of like really fun, like really well written side characters in the movie. That was like one of the things I enjoyed about it the most.
I really like the hipster guy. What was his name? Ivan. No, Igor. What was his name?
Come on, you'll get there. Keep saying weird names.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Irving.
Irving, see, not even close. Yeah, he was
and
cool.
He's there. He's like a third wheel on their date in Rome.
Him.
You know,
he was
taking
all
pictures
like,
of her.
Bet you can't wait to see these photographs I got of you.
He keeps getting like tripped up or drinks thrown on him because he's not allowed to reveal the secret that they're actually reporters.
Yeah. He was fun.
No. I think it's like a lot. It's a massive like hangout movie. I think.
Yeah.
It's like you're just along on this trip with them. It's like you're spending the day in Rome with them. It's all really just fun and like it's a really warm movie.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of vibes.
Yeah, but not shit.
Hey, I fucking love that film. Hey.
Like, you know, they drive a Vespa around. It's like, yeah, let's get a Vespa. That's like living the dream.
Yeah,
driving a Vespa around in Rome, that's the dream, man.
Yeah.
That's what
I would
everybody wants
love
to do.
to ride a Vespa.
Well, when she like takes control of the Vespa and she like starts it by accident, she can't drive. She's like driving on the pavement on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, because she's probably been shouted her whole life. Like she's been driven around and she's probably like never even had breakfast at a diner before. Like it's just these kind of like little things that like normal people do that she's probably like, wow, this is amazing. And everyone else is like,
She's having her first cigarette.
Yeah. Like,
smoking for the first time.
to be
Which
fair,
was like,
though.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
If you ever had a cigarette for the first time,
You're not
you
missing
wouldn't
out.
take it
Yeah,
that well.
no, like,
No.
I don't think you would even like enjoy it, to be honest. Like even if
No.
you thought you enjoyed it because you're like, wow, I'm having one, but you kind of like, oh, it's like when we first had cigars for the first time. I didn't fucking enjoy that. That wasn't nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say for the first time, the first and only time, because it was disgusting. Like no one enjoys that kind of stuff.
But then, it's like one day and you got to get lost in it all. It's like, I got to try everything.
yeah,
Anything and
It's
everything.
liberating.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say you would enjoy that. And surely
No.
she'd be coughing up. She'd be like, that's kind of gross.
Oh dear. I like that they go to the Colosseum. That's a place I've been to as well. I think it's it just looks lovely. All like the architecture of it, and it's very I think they use Rome very well within the movie.
Yeah, they do.
Just showcasing all these different places and tourist destinations you can go to, and also like the more secluded places, like back alleys and like just going into different shops and stuff. They go to like the Trevi Fountain, and that looks wonderful. As always, I'm like, oh, hey, I've been there. Or every time like they went somewhere, I was like, oh, I know that place. I've been there once.
I think it's just always a great backdrop for a film.
Mm.
It's like Italy just generally, I think, is a country so filled with like vibrance and life that it does work as the perfect setting for a film.
Yeah, definitely.
God, I miss Italy.
Yeah.
Same,
go
I've
again.
never been.
You're
We'll do
missing
a,
out,
a
Chris. It
podcast
is-
trip to Italy.
I think we should.
Where we review only Italian movies that week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
but,
when
when we can never travel ever again, you mean?
she like asks for money. He's like, oh, how much do you need?
And then she
she's like,
says, how much have
how much have you got? I don't know. How much you got? He's like, oh, just taking all his money. He's poor, He has nothing, It's like, oh, 1,000. You spare that? He's like, it's like $1.50. It doesn't matter.
I love that.
I think Audrey Hepburn is fantastic in the movie.
Mhm.
It was her first role, I think. She like really, really nails the comedic stuff about the character. You can kind of tell that she's kind of experiencing a lot of what the character's experiencing and how like excited she is about exploring this new place and seeing all these sights and kind of doing extravagant things and like seeing the world almost.
Yeah.
I love the sequences, like the sequence early on where she gets given like the sedative to keep her like asleep, and she's kind of acting like she's really drunk and like stumbling around. I think she's really funny in those scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the scenes before that where she was like being really dramatic, and I was like, that's me, bitch. That is a bit of me.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I have to do more than 4 things in a day. I don't think I can live anymore. And I'm like, that is me.
Yeah, when her mum's like, I'm going to go get the doctor, and she says, don't bother, I'll be dead by then.
Literally, that's me. Like, oh, that is so relatable. Like, that was so funny. Like, and it's really weird because this is the only film I've ever seen her in.
Yeah, same.
And
That's insane, guys.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
She's
but
one of the
like-
greats. She
Yeah,
really is.
She won an Oscar for this.
Mhm. And I
Oh,
think,
don't blame her. Yeah, don't blame her.
I think I don't blame her for winning that. She was all right, actually. Yeah. I think this is a good movie to start on, but like also,
Okay.
what? Like this is like my favorite movie from her. I haven't seen like loads, but I would like to watch more of her work because she's fantastic in pretty much everything I've seen her in. But maybe I've started you out too high. I don't know. This is
Maybe.
really great.
Maybe.
Apparently, when she won the Oscar for this movie, she went to the toilet straight after getting the statuette, and she accidentally left it in there and had to run back in to get it like
Brilliant.
10 minutes later.
Nice.
That is, see, she's got that energy, man. That is
Mhm.
the.
She does, and I
I
think
love
that's why
that.
people love her so
Mhm.
much, because she is kind of quirky, she is kind of clumsy in a way, but it's real.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that scene at the dance where they get into this massive fight. I think it all, choreography wise, it looks really good. And I never doubted for a second that people were actually being punched. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like you
like-
see some films where like it doesn't even look
Yeah.
like they've been punched; they just fall to the
Especially
ground.
like films of this era, like older movies.
Yeah. It could be a bit slapsticky or like
yeah, a bit comedic.
like-
Looks a bit weird.
yeah, like it's a play or something.
Yeah.
I like the barber like had to brush his hair before he went into a punch up.
Yeah, but that's something exactly what a barber
Yeah.
would do. So
She-
I appreciate that.
Obviously, an iconic moment is when she smashes the guitar over the guy's head,
Yeah,
and
like-
she gets given a photo of it by Irving later on.
I like the bit where that guy who has the guitar smashed on his head is just like dragged out, and he has like this guitar just like on his neck.
Mhm.
It's so sick.
Yeah, I really like the third act a lot because it's really sad. Like I was like tearing up when they have to like say goodbye to each other, and he like drops her home or like to the embassy. I was like, oh, okay, this is so upsetting. She like gets out of the car and then she leaves, and there's like this moment where you like see his whole facade kind of crack because he's been very suave and together this whole time, and his face just kind of like drops, and you kind of see his lip quiver. Like, oh fuck! And I was like, yeah, he's just realised that he's absolutely in love with her. I like almost cried. It was lovely.
It's a really sad ending, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
They
saw
can't be together.
I saw some reviews that were like, "How dare this film give me heartbreak?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then it happened, and I thought, bro." Like when the end credit came on, I went, "Oh, bro."
Yeah, he like
How dare they do that?
that was like the last time they saw each other was at that press event. And,
Yeah.
like, you could only ask each other like very strict questions.
Yeah, because you
And,
can't
like,
just go,
I don't know,
"Hey, how
she
was
was
the
asked
other
like
night?"
3
yeah?
questions that entire time. What? Nobody else had any questions? There were like 100
Apparently not, man.
100 reporters there, and it was all very strict and mannered. And then you think that because he's stayed there and he's the only one left, and he looks back, that she's going to come running out again. But obviously that's not what's going to happen because she is part of his life. And that's where it ends. And it's like, oh man,
Yeah, that was
it's
that.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, like
It's sad, but I honestly wouldn't want it any other
No,
way.
sure.
I think it perfectly fits the movie, and I think it kind of would have cheapened the ending if
I think it
Yeah,
would have
she
cheapened it
did
as well.
run out and they did have a happy ending where they ran away together. I don't think it would have been quite as effective.
No, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty much a stab to the heart, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was
Apparently,
hurt.
like 15, 20 years later, there were talks of them doing a sequel of them like reuniting years later.
That's good
And
that they
they
didn't
had
do
both
that.
signed on, but it just never ended up happening.
Good.
That's probably for the best. Like, could you imagine?
That's always the
How the
mindset,
he- yeah,
isn't
how the
it?
hell would
Oh,
you
we've
ever
done this
follow
great
up?
movie. Let's make a sequel where they meet again.
No,
We don't need that.
No
Never
one ever
know.
needs
Could
that.
have been a before sunset sort of thing.
Yeah, but probably not.
It's true. I like almost every film that's kind of done that is.
I think more often than not,
Yeah,
of
not good. Just not
falls on
worth
its face
it.
a bit. Yeah,
Don't pander to me. Just let me be sad. Okay.
it's like wanting a solution to a problem that doesn't need it because it's like that's just the narrative that it's going for.
Yeah, and imagine like you got that. Like you got that film where they finally unite. Would you be happy? I don't think I would be. I'd be
I'm
like,
happy with the
oh,
ending we got.
brilliant. Yeah, I'm not
I like
happy
the
with it,
ending.
but I'm happy with it.
It's
You know?
upsetting, and it's heartbreaking, and that's how I like my movies.
Yeah. That's love.
That's love, baby.
Wow.
Mhm.
Anything else we want to say?
We can go on to ratings.
Okay.
You know, it's quite a contained movie, and
Mm.
it's 2 hours long, but it's
I
like
didn't feel like it, to be
no,
honest.
it's just like you're just hanging out with them.
Mm.
You know, let's
We're rating out of Techers.
doing it out of Techers because Darcy was like, "That's Techers." I was like,
Oh, right.
We were
So,
like, what
no,
are
for
you talking about?
context, there was a guy in the alleys riding a bike with like a fruit basket thing on his head, and I was like, that is Techers.
and
means
Chris said,
mad skills.
What is that? What is Techers, Darcy?
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
You never
So
heard
I-
that? I've heard it. Yeah.
So I noted down on my notes under
Do you
the
know what, I'm
title
just-
rate out of 10.
I'm actually just going to make a quick note that when we get to Holly's on Saturday, you ask her about Techers.
I won't remember
She'll
that.
fucking tell you.
Mate, that is Bear Techers, fam.
Have I
Yeah.
ever said bear or fan?
This film is Bear
Actually, maybe I've said
Techers
that.
fam.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Fuck
it
you
is.
both.
Yeah, it's really great. I think it's a really beautiful, well-made movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Give it 8 Techers out of 10.
Mm. I love it. And it's fantastic. Yeah. And also, I really liked her outfit as well. Of the costume design
Yeah.
was really great. What was it? It was like she said when she gets to Gregory Peck's place, she's like, "Oh, you have my permission to withdraw," and her skirt falls down. That was funny. Really funny movie as well. And really just very lovely overall. I'm gonna give it 10 techers out of 10. Love it.
I really loved her dress at the end. It was gorgeous. All the outfits were gorgeous. The film was gorgeous. 8 techers out of 10.
And Gregory Peck had his tie tucked into his belt.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that until the end of the film, and I was like, has that always been there?
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Once
glad-
again, don't notice anything.
glad to watch it again. Glad to introduce you guys to it. It's a
Hell
very
yeah.
good movie.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to get that kind of introduction to like,
The late great Audrey
Yeah.
Hepburn.
of course.
It's always good to see like one of the classic movies that you've not watched.
Yeah, especially when if you're someone like me and you know that you're probably not going to watch them, but I feel more satisfied knowing that I have. Especially like when, and this is going to sound really stupid, but like if my nan and granddad ever come over and I need something to talk about with them, I know that they've probably seen it, and I'm like, oh, remember that film? I did it with Singing in the Rain at Christmas, and they were like, oh, I don't really like Singing in the Rain. I was like, oh, what the fuck is the point in talking to you guys?
Leave this place, never come back.
Could have talked about It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
That is true, I could have. My mum doesn't like that film too much because what's her name's always screaming. Can't remember her name. That one. Anyway, so finally we're on to my film. I picked But I'm a Cheerleader from 1999, directed by Jamie Babbitt, and it's a film about a American cheerleader in high school called Megan, and she has a boyfriend, but she doesn't really like him that much. And then one day she gets this intervention, and they're like, "Oh, Megan, you're a lesbian, so we're going to send you to a conversion camp," and she learns to be straight.
Or does she?
Yeah, the answer is no. Very much a no.
Yeah, it's almost like conversion therapy doesn't work.
It's almost as if it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep, this movie sucked.
I was looking at Max's rating, and me and Chris were like, Max didn't like it.
This movie
I know.
sucked, man. I didn't like this movie.
No, I
It looked
think
like The Cat in the Hat, and I know what it's going for within the first 2 minutes, and it does nothing with it.
I'll be honest, my favourite part of this film is just watching Natasha Lyonne for an hour and a half.
Is that the only reason you like it? You don't care about anything else, just Natasha Lyonne.
Well, no, I mean, I like the concept that it's going for. Like, you can't change who you are. If you're gay, it's fine, it's great. And I'm like, what a powering LGBT film, you know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that.
It's like the same message from a Disney Channel original movie, but gay.
In theory, like, I feel like I liked it less the second time I watched it, but I still enjoyed it, but mostly because I got to watch Natasha Lyonne for an hour and a half.
I think the whole presentation of it it's trying to be very over the top.
It was very blue and pink.
With its visual palette, but also with its narrative. I mean, it's just being very over the top with it. Like everything that they're doing, the dialogue is like so, like just hyper over the top all the time, and it's like, oh, you get it. Being gay is all right, actually. And then I'm like, yeah, I know. I get it. And I just, look, it's not a wholly awful movie. I just think that for what I want with a movie that's trying to tackle this kind of thing, it's, make it a short film or like make it a Tumblr post. It's like, yeah, being gay is all right, actually. Here's some pink visuals.
I think it would have been quite good as a short film because it's only about an hour and 20 minutes anyway, so they could have just cut some of the stuff out and just like sort of, or even made like a series of short films about it, because I don't know, I just feel like in an hour and a half I just don't feel like, I don't know, like I don't feel like it was worthy of a whole feature-length movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What I get most out of it is the way it kind of tackles the idea of like gender norms and roles and like homophobia in quite a satirical way. I find a lot of it quite funny. I think in some ways it is kind of ahead of its time in the way it tackles these kind of things, which is something that wasn't really being done at the time. Like, I could 100% see this film coming out nowadays, but I think at the time no one was really discussing homophobia in this way. No one was really discussing conversion camps and like the idea of them. I don't think it goes into like a super deep, like critical, like sort of direction with it, but I don't think it's trying to go into that direction.
No,
at the same
I almost
time.
feel like it's a little wink, nudge to people in the community, and I feel like that's kind of why it's
Yeah.
like a cult classic in that sort of like in the community, if that makes sense. Like people are just like, yeah, it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of, it's looking at the idea of like a nuclear family and like the idea of just like the suburban expectation of life, and also the way that
it just takes
people
the piss out of everything, really.
like how stupid homophobia can be, and it's kind of like, this is just really silly. It doesn't need to be overly dark, like something like the Cameron Post movie. I can't remember what that's called.
Yeah.
Miseducation of Cameron Post, which is like a really serious movie about gay conversion therapy, which I don't think is anywhere near as good as this.
No, that movie sucked. That movie was awful. Sorry to use the same adjective.
I didn't
but-
even mind it, but I massively preferred the way this film tackled it.
I feel like it's sometimes it's easier to make a massive joke out of it than it is to make it like so serious that it's like upsetting. Like, because
Yeah.
this is kind of upsetting in the way that it's like, wow, they exist. Like, did you look up that statistic that like UK only banned conversion camps like a year ago or something?
Yeah, it was
How
2021.
How fucking ridiculous is
Fucked
that?
up, yeah.
How is that?
Come on.
It baffles me. I mean, it baffles me that they exist anyway, but like, given the current like years that we're in, especially when we made like gay marriage legal like, I don't know, 10 years ago, but only last year we're like, actually no, we can't make people not gay. It's like, I hate it. I actually hate the idea of it so much.
I think in terms of like the look of the film, they're really going for that kind of suburban look, like the really very overly sickly green sort of look. Apparently they were heavily inspired by films of John Waters as well as Edward Scissorhands and Barbie, and I completely
Barbie,
get
I
that.
can totally
Especially
see.
Edward Scissorhands, like in the early scenes before they go to the camp where there's like houses that are pink and there's like brightly coloured cars driving along.
See, now this is something that normally I enjoy because, as everyone knows, I love a little bit of my boy Wes, who has everything almost in a bright colour and a bright tone, right?
Craven.
But I felt,
Yeah.
but I felt like this was just too much. Like it was just a lot.
I didn't mind it because I kind of got what she was going for, but I also completely get why you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, like it
And I
made sense, but
completely
it was
agree with the cat and the hat.
it was just, it was almost like it would have been all right if it wasn't as vibrant, almost like if it wasn't like that neon like bubblegum pink and it was more like a soft kind of pink. I'd have been like, okay, nice.
I think
it's
it's
just
going
a
for
lot.
like
like Suspiria, like Dario Argento's Suspiria. It was like Suspiria light for
It was-
gay people.
I think it is going for like an overly sickly and bright tone. It's
Oh, it
like
definitely
especially
is.
shown in like the music, which has at points almost like a Muzak sort of feel to it. Like there's like music that you hear in like a shopping mall or like a elevator or something,
yeah,
like that really bright twinkly
Do you know
background
what?
music.
I'm actually more surprised that there wasn't any RuPaul songs in
Apparently
the film.
there was.
There probably was, but I don't remember hearing one.
I don't know where, but apparently there is a bit where
I might have to
there's a
look it up.
RuPaul song.
Because
Yeah, RuPaul's here. Comes in, he's wearing like a blue, he's all in blue. He's wearing like a shirt that says straight is great.
Straight is great with his little booty shorts on.
Mhm. And I get
mean-
what they were trying to do with like the
Yeah, I totally get
contrast
it.
of like putting the boys in blue and the girls in pink.
Mm.
I get it, but it looked disgusting.
Yeah, it's also meant to be like totally ironic that you've got this janitor who's straight, but he's definitely not straight.
Yeah, I
Oh, the
appreciate
son's
that.
also not straight.
He was like,
Ha,
yes,
ha, ha.
I was once a gay.
I was an ex-gay. Like, I don't know. See, and I know that it's just like an unpopular opinion, but actually it is kind of popular within the community. But I fucking hate RuPaul.
Yeah, I don't like
God,
RuPaul
I hate
at all.
RuPaul.
I don't like RuPaul's Drag
I
Race or
apologise.
anything.
I love RuPaul's Drag Race and I love all the RuPaul shows, but I just don't like him.
But
Like-
I do like him in this movie. I think he works well. I think he's quite funny. I like the character he plays.
I think this was before he got a proper big ego, though. Like, I think nowadays it's just. But then if you've ever watched a TV show, like you've obviously seen it before, like it's just it's been done. It's just I'm not into it, and I'm not into him.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was all right in the movie.
Yeah,
you know,
I
he
liked
works
him.
well for the character that he's playing.
Well, he works in
So-
this movie.
Sure.
I just don't
And
like
that's
him.
what we're reviewing.
That's it.
Let's not go after the man's whole life, shall we?
Not his whole life, just recent life.
Yeah. I like there was that character, Jan, who's like, she's not even gay, but they just think she is because she's not very feminine. It's like, yeah, I like men. And then she's just constantly saying that. I'm like, stop lying to us. Because she's like a bit butch, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of sad, to be fair. Wasn't there some character that you guys were like going, oh, look, it's that guy from something or other.
Oh yeah, Dante
Can you get-
Basco's in this. He plays Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And every time he had his speaking part, I was like, oh my god, it's Zuko.
Yeah, he's also Rufio and Hook, but
No.
no one else here has seen that film, so no one knows what I'm talking
And I
about.
never will.
You will.
This is the second week in a row we've had a movie where Julie Delpy just shows up.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Credited as lipstick lesbian.
Lipstick lesbian, played by Julie Delpy. Thank you.
And everyone was like, cool.
Yes.
That was the only time Max was like, oh my god, this film's
Yeah.
finally
Now
done
we're
something.
picking up.
I think one of us has to pick a film with her in next week as well.
I don't know any films that she's been in apart from the ones that I've seen.
Yeah. One problem I have with this movie is that I don't understand why what's her face likes what's her face.
Oh, Megan
Yeah.
likes Graham, like Graham crackers.
Yeah, Graham.
Yeah. Why
I
is her
don't know
name
why
Graham?
they like each other. I guess because they're girls.
And they're there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah,
they're
they kind of like show them like bonding and having fun with each other and kind of flirting in a way. But these aren't characters who
Yeah, but it
they don't
feels
really develop any of these characters. So
Yeah, it feels
there's not really a way of them
convenient, you know?
like they don't really show them like relating over something because we don't really know
No.
anything about them.
No, exactly.
That's
No,
probably
I
my
get-
biggest problem with the
I
movie.
think-
I didn't really care about any of the
I
characters
don't
because
know.
they don't really
I think
develop
Megan was
any
the
of them.
only one that you ever found out like pretty much anything about.
Yeah, but it all culminates in like this kind of Disney-fied ending where like she's like, "Oh, we're gonna run off together," and they get in the back of a pickup truck and then they drive away, and it's like the music's going and
Yeah, where
everything's
they
like,
gonna go?
"Oh yes, they did it, guys! Love wins!" And it's like,
You're the one who
okay.
said love wins.
yeah, because love did win, but it's a very like I don't know, maybe that's the kind of way that people want it to be done.
Yeah, maybe.
But for me, it was like, yeah, it was like, it's not exactly nothing I've never seen before. I've seen this done a million times.
Yeah,
You know, the music goes and it's all swelling, and then they live happily ever after in the back of a pickup truck.
yeah. I think throughout a lot of the movie, I was like, okay, this is actually something kind of interesting and different in a way. But then there's a lot of bits where I was like, this is no different than most like teen comedies of the late 90s. Like the music was very, like the score I thought was very interesting and different. And then anytime they would bring in like some 90s rock song, it would be way too of its time. Like I felt like a lot of the film, where it's very much inspired by that traditional like suburban look, it kind of had a almost 50s sort of Tim Burton sort of look, but that music made it feel far more generic. I also thought a lot of the cinematography at points could be quite standard. There's like a couple bits in like the opening intervention scene where there's like these really cool crash zooms, and when they were doing that I was like, oh, okay, this could actually be something like visually really interesting. Then from then on, it was just
Are you going to
standard
talk about that
back and
ugly
forth.
shot that you guys hated where she was on the phone?
Oh, the split diopter.
I
Yeah,
don't
because
hate
Chris
it.
always gets hard-ons for split diopter shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
No
it.
matter what they are. And there was a split diopter shot in this movie where she's on the phone and then like someone's in the background and it looks fucking disgusting. It's all green.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was
gross,
literally, it was
because
green.
the set design is there.
And like
so
her
it's
face looks all like bulgy, and
Yeah.
it's like it just
She's
looks
super
weird.
close up, and then you got like the green wall with this woman who's sat on like a
And
bed
I'm
or
pretty sure
something.
the foam's like bright blue as
Yeah.
well. It's just
It looks
gross.
awful. I'm sorry. You
No,
can't
I
just put a
agree. It
split
wasn't-
diopter shot in there and be like, that's great, isn't it? Because it's a split diopter shot.
Yeah, like when they did it in From Dusk Till Dawn too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just ain't right.
One day I'll make a movie and every single shot will be a split diopter shot.
Okay.
Every shot, okay.
I like when that woman took the straw out of her son's drink. She goes, "No more sipping. Chug it like a man." Okay.
Yeah, there were some weird lines in this film.
I guess it's all about like the objectification of the different like sexes and genders, you know. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, there was that the teacher who was like, "Oh, women have role." No, wait, no, it wasn't, because it was one of the kids, and they were like talking about like women's roles in the house and like and men's roles, and she was like, "Oh, women have roles, and once you realize this, you'll stop objectifying them."
Yeah, that's
I was
what
like,
Megan says.
That's weird. Yeah, I was like, that's
she
weird.
holds up like a card with a woman like
Yeah.
washing something.
She's
like,
washing. Yeah, women have roles, and once you realize this, you'll stop objectifying them. I was like, isn't that objectifying them by
yeah,
saying
that
yes,
they have these
roles to
particular roles.
fill? Yeah.
Yeah, because they
Really?
were all like, yes, when they had that video, it was like, women are like homemakers and mothers, and they stay at home and watch the children, and the men go out and make the money so the women can spend it. And it's like, wow.
They were like trying to say that she felt this way because there was a period in time where her dad didn't have a job and her mother became the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's what's made you gay, and like you don't even respect men anymore because your father didn't have a job.
And then they all clapping like, yeah, we found it, we
did
got
it.
it.
We had a breakthrough.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
She's like, but it's not like that. And they're like, no, we did it. I feel so bad if I was that guy.
I hated at the end where they nerfed the goth girl. She was goth, and they nerfed her. They're like, you just be in a pink dress and have no, like, just undye your hair and just be a pretty girl.
Yeah, that was horrific.
In a pink dress.
I feel like that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're saying about
That
these.
pissed me off,
sort of
man.
things.
Oh, I know, that's exactly what they were
Yeah,
saying.
because that doesn't even. We're not even talking about like changing like people's, I don't know, genders and stuff or sexualities and stuff. Anyway, we're literally talking about like subcultures and stuff. Like, you can't have a personality now either. You must be
No.
cookie cutter woman.
So I
Yeah.
first heard about this film like years ago because there's a documentary called "This Film Is Not Yet Rated." Don't know if either of you seen it. It's like a
No.
film about the American Ratings Board and
Right.
kind of like how they work, and also about the NC-17 rating, where in America, if a film gets an NC-17, that's like a death curse. Like no one
Oh, yeah,
will
you can't film
publicly.
it. You can't see it in cinemas, right?
You can see it in cinemas, but only in limited screenings. You can't publicly advertise it on TV. So, like 9 times out of 10, if a film gets an NC-17 rating, they'll either heavily cut it down to get an R, or they'll like appeal with the board. And this film got an NC-17 rating because the ratings board at the time are incredibly homophobic and will like rate against rule. Basically, if anything with like gay people or even women like sexual is going on, they'll basically rate the film higher than normal. And because of
Yeah.
that, they had to cut out a 2-second shot of Graham's hand sweeping Megan's clothed body and a pan shot of Megan masturbating, and one comment in which they say Megan ate Graham out.
Nice.
No.
Yeah. Sucked up. The system's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah. It's still fucked up.
I think
The world's fucked up.
they have rules for men and they have rules for women.
Yeah,
And it's very strange to see.
Yeah, you can get your man titties out, but you can't get your lady titties out.
I think the
Pissed.
idea of this film, like them saying you can't watch this film unless you're 17 or older, is very silly. Because I think you could easily watch this like in your early teens. There's
Mhm.
nothing really bad at all except for like some swear words.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean,
It's quite a tame movie in
It's a
terms
very
of
tame
like
movie,
subject
90s
matter,
teen
right?
comedy.
especially in terms of what it's about, because it could go so far.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes a film will get a higher rating just because it's showcasing like LGBTQ plus representation, and that's like it, and that they don't need any
They don't need
anything further. They don't
justification.
need to
That's just
justify
what
any
it
further
is.
than that.
Yeah.
The kids can't handle this.
How will the little children?
How will they wrap their minds around a
Even though
girl
they
who likes a
definitely-
girl?
They're definitely not gonna watch it, so I just don't get it.
I quite like Natasha Lyonne in this movie. I think the character she's playing is quite different to character I've seen her play before, because normally she kind of plays very cocky, loud, confident sort of person, whereas this she's much more reserved. And I did appreciate seeing her do something basically completely different to her normal characters.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, she's pretty good in this movie.
Who?
Natasha Lyonne. Oh, come on, Darcy.
Have you just
She's the
completely
main
forgot
bloody
who she
character.
is?
No,
The
it wasn't
person-
that.
Oh,
I was.
I love Natasha
I
Lyonne.
was
you
reading
said.
something. I wasn't paying attention to who you were talking about.
Thanks.
Did you say she plays someone different?
Yeah.
I don't think
Plays a
so.
different-
Character's
She's
very different.
She literally plays like gay all the time.
No, but I mean, if you listen to what I said, you'd know.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
listening.
was saying normally she's like very confident and cocky and loud, but in this she's much more quiet and reserved.
You really like. She's just not playing someone different. She's gay in this one too.
Even though in every other thing she's in, she's like straight. Except for this and like Orange is the New Black.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
I think maybe it's time to go to rating.
Let's
I
do
think
it.
it is. Fuck this.
We're doing it out of. Okay.
Lipstick lesbians.
Lipstick lesbians. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's the best thing I've ever seen. It's pretty. I'd say a lot of it is like a pretty standard 90s comedy, but there's definitely some interesting stuff going on. And I like the way it satirizes the idea of like gender norms and homophobia. Give it like 7 lipsticks lesbians out of 10. Maybe I'd watch it again, maybe not.
I like how
Who
you
knows?
faltered there. I love that because I'm going to do the same.
Yeah. I just didn't really gel with it, and I think it's too much like The Cat in the Hat, and it's done with its messaging within the first 10 minutes, and then you just have to sit through the next hour and 10 minutes of it, and it's the same thing. 4 lipstick lesbians out of 10.
I guess I forgot to mention that part of the reason why I kind of like this film is not only why I mentioned before, but this is one of the only films in this sort of thing where like there's a happy ending. Like literally almost every other like LGBT film is just so like depressing. I'm just like, oh, here we go. So I like this one because it's a bit more uplifting. So 7 lipstick lesbians out of 10.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the romance. All been getting romantic today.
Yeah.
Next week, it's episode 69. So we're going to talk about some 69 movies, some sexy movies that are hot and steamy. Maybe. So we're just going to recommend 3.
Have we all picked our films?
Yeah.
No. Oh.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Why? You've let us down,
I am
Darcy.
so
Better
sorry.
get looking
You've let
while
the
me and
podcast
Max
down.
pick our films.
Yeah, you better get looking
No,
right now.
no,
and
it-
you've let yourself down.
No, it won't be quick enough.
I mean, I've
It
got
might be a surprise now. Go ahead.
a list of a
I
few
can't, but-
films I wanted to pick from. Do you want to pick from there? Do you want to have a look at it first
All right, I'll
before
have a
saying
look at
that?
it.
Yeah, you better.
Why
Because
is your
look,
list only 3 like films long?
look, Darcy, if you didn't want to pick from the list, you should have picked something you wanted to watch.
Do you know what? I'll pick this one then. I'll
Okay.
pick Beginners.
Right.
You're gonna pick Beginners, weren't you?
No.
What the fuck is happening here?
You didn't even wait your turn.
No, you didn't even wait.
No, because I am now pissed.
Okay. She's picking Beginners, directed by Mike Mills.
Okay, cool.
His other films are great, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I'm going to pick another Mikhail Haneke movie. It's been a while since we've watched one of his films.
Oh, God.
It's, my
Who?
film's The Piano Teacher.
For fuck's sake.
Was that what you were going to pick, Max? Is this one of those like weeks where just everything is just it's gone to shit? It's all gone to shit.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I'm not ready to watch that movie again.
Yeah, I've only watched
Why?
it once, so
Oh.
Yeah, you're in for a treat with that one.
Should I be worried?
yeah.
Yeah, really, you should really be worried, honestly. Sexy. So, my recommendation is ooh, a movie I don't think any of us have watched before. I just got it on Blu-ray for this. So, it is the 2018 movie directed by Claire Denis called High Life.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Fuck.
I've not seen it.
All right, well, Chris has seen it, but I haven't. So we're going to watch High Life.
Good
Cool.
old Robert Pattinson.
He's there. All right. So we got The Piano Teacher, High Life, and Beginners. What a fucking shambles at the end there. We have social media accounts also. Go follow those. YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon. Twitter at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook at Sunday Movie Marathon. And Letterboxd at Sunday MM. Capital S, capital MM. Thanks for listening. Any last words, lads?
Andre 3000!
See you
love
next time.
Boo boo, yeah.